No time to waste, let's do it, guys. If you haven't seen the first part of the video, check it out, because it's gonna help you understand the process that's gonna happen today. So let's dig into it. What we are gonna do today is basically use an outboard gear with already recorded track or live MIDI instrument inside your DAW. So as you remember from the previous video, we have an audio now in digital form inside our computer, and we want to use it outside of the computer with our outboard gear. So let me show you how it's gonna work. Basically, a really quick tip for you: if you ever get lost in the path of audio, you can always imagine where it will kind of go. Let me show it to you. Right now we have our track, our audio inside of the computer, and we want to have it here. So it's right now in digital form, so somehow we have to convert it to analog form so it can go here, and then it have to go back to the computer and be digital again. So right now it's here, so it has to go there through the audio interface. So it's going right there through the output into the input of the reverb, and it came from here to here to here. And right now the audio is inside the reverb. It has reverb on it, and it's basically stuck there, so it has to go back somewhere. And from the outputs it goes to the inputs of the interface, so it's like kind of a loop. And now it's going back to the computer, and now it has also a reverb on it. And I hope I explained everything really nice for you and you understand everything. So basically I used output number 3, 4 and input number 7, 8. So you have the path of the audio on the bottom on the screen, so you can check it out. Okay, so basically we have our Rhodes piano here, and we have to send it to our reverb. So basically we're gonna do it using aux sends. We can go to the channel strip section. We have our sends, and basically we send our signal from the Rhodes to the output number 3, 4 as before. And right now the Rhodes are going onto the output number 3, 4. We can actually send it, and we can use pre-fader send, so the fader here doesn't affect our send. And right now it's in the reverb because it's on the output 3, 4, and they are connected to the inputs of our reverb. And right now we have to get it back, so we have to make a new track that's gonna be our return channel, because it's returning back to the computer. And we choose input number 7, 8 because that's the input that is connected to the output of the reverb. It's exactly like I showed you before. That's our path, and basically we are doing it right now using sends and audio track. So we click create, and if we select record and input the monitoring on the new track, we should basically have a reverb. And we do. Yeah, so basically that's the first method, and if you understand this, it's gonna be really easy to understand the I/O plugin. So the second way is to actually use the plugin. In Logic it's under Utility, I/O, and we choose the output, the input, and we can ping the signal. It's gonna, you know, compensate the differences in sending audio outside of the computer, because whenever you do that, it always generates some kind of latency. So a really nice feature there. Yeah, so basically that's it, and only this, and it's already working. So it's really simple, but it's really important for you to understand both of those methods, because it's gonna help you later when it's gonna come to saving the project. So basically what I really like about IO plugin is that you can forget about that, and actually it behaves like a normal plugin. You can move it, you can put it on the aux track, basically just treat it like it's a normal plugin that you're using in your DAW. So right now we can add some chorus. Before that, no problem. We can choose the reverb and we can just go. Man, I love this reverb. I love it. The cloud setting is absolutely amazing. Okay, so you see it's working. Okay, so right now I can show you a real life example. So let's dig into the session that is a little bit more complicated. Okay guys, so we have a really quick track that I composed specially for you. And basically that's again some, it's this time Wurlitzer, some drums and some bass guitar. So right now I'm gonna show you how to basically save it, because it's not as obvious as you might think, because normally you just press Command B, it's bounce or export, and you just export it and there's the sound. But right now we are using digital and analog in the same time, so it's not the same way anymore. So basically, have you ever thought about when you click Command B, there is an option called real-time and offline bounce. So why would you use real-time? If you tried it, it's gonna basically run from the start to the end of the audio, and it's gonna actually play it. So why would you use it? Basically, that's for this kind of situation, because if you do it offline, the computer does all the work for you because it's digital, so computer can render it, and there are no real waves inside, there are digital equivalent of the waves, so it's just pretty simple rendering and computer magic. But if you use the Outboard Gear, we are actually using real sound waves, and it has to go from the beginning to the end, because it has to run the dry signal, in this case our Wurlitzer, through the reverb, get it back and actually save it. So basically that's what the real-time mode is for. And that's how they did it back in the days. They had a full mix made on the Outboard Gear with analog console, and on the tape recorder they just played record, and it went through the beginning to the end. There was basically no different way. So if you want to use one gear, let's say one reverb on one track, there is no problem. You just apply IO plugin on the track, and you just bounce it when you finish with the project. You set your settings on the reverb, you just bounce it online. It's gonna be there. Awesome. But if you want to use it on two tracks, there's actually not a huge problem, because you can create an aux track and apply the IO plugin there. No problem, online bounce, there's the reverb is there. Or if you have, let's say you have a reverb, compressor and EQ. You want to have reverb on Wurlitzer, you want to have compression on the bass, and EQ on the drums. So you have three different loops of effects plugged into your interface. No problem, you set three different IO plugins, you press bounce, alright. But if you want to use, for example, on the first Wurlitzer the one setting, and on the second Wurlitzer the second setting, you actually have to do it separately, because it's happening real time. So you just cannot use two settings on one unit, on one reverb. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. So basically that's the case for today, and I will show you why sometimes it's better to use aux sends instead of IO plugins. Because right now we have our Wurlitzer that has IO plugin. Let's put it on, let's press play. And it's going like that, and there the song starts. And on the second Wurlitzer we want to have a different reverb because that one is gonna be just too much. We want to have a room one. So how do we do it? Basically, if you can do it million ways. You can set, I named this one Cloud Wurly and Room Wurly because that's the type of reverb I'm gonna use. So Cloud Wurly, let's press the cloud setting on our reverb, and what we can do right now is just solo this track, Command B, real time, press OK, it's gonna go all the way, we can import it back, and we will have Wurlitzer with a reverb on it. That's it. And basically we can do it the same with the Room Wurlitzer, change the settings, Command B, real time bounce, run it through, import it back, there's the Wurlitzer with the reverb on it. Great. So what we can do here is actually send this, create new track with input 7.8, let's call it Cloud Reverb. Yeah, so if we create something like that, right now we can just press record and it's gonna record the signal onto our new track, and we can choose on our reverb unit the mix to 100% setting. So on the reverb you have only our wet signal, so it's gonna record only the wet signal and we will have it on a separate track, which is gonna be a lot better for mixing. So if I press record, you see, it's basically playing right now Wurlitzer and the reverb on the separate track. So if we will leave it a little bit more, you can see that on the second track we have only reverb. And if we mix it together, we can do all kind of different stuff. You can compress it, EQ it, and so on and so on. That's a really nice feature. And basically we can do exactly the same thing with our Room Wurlitzer. We do the same, we just change the setting on our reverb, press create a new track, name it somehow, press record, and it's gonna do all the work for us. So as you see, we have two methods, the IO plugin and the aux plugin. And at the first glance you might tell IO plugin is a lot better, like it's doing everything for us. But as you see, not in every case. So sometimes it's easier to use aux tracks because you can actually send a lot of those instruments into that aux track, just record it, everything is happening inside the session. So you are basically ready to go anytime. And you can do it multiple times and so on and so on. Whereas the IO plugin is really convenient because it's just a piece of plugin where you can place it here, place it there. You don't have to mess around with inputs, outputs, and so on and so on. So you see that if you understand both of those correctly, you're gonna use one in one scenario and the other one in the other scenario. So it's really nice to understand both of those methods. So to sum everything up, if you set either if it's IO plugin or it's an aux plugin, you have to bounce it online. Either if it's recording a new track or bouncing the whole project using online bounce, because it has to convert the digital signal to the analog signal and analog signal to the digital again, so it can save it on your computer, and it has to be in real time. So basically that's the sum up of this video. Thank you very much guys for watching. See you next Sunday guys, where I'm gonna talk a little bit about lossless audio formats, and I will try to answer the question, do I really need to listen on the highest quality possible if I'm listening to music. We're gonna talk a little bit about streaming services and the quality of audio they are offering. Okay guys, so thank you very much and see you in the next one. Bye bye.